And we are live. It's quite possibly the final UFC draft show of 2025. UFC 323, Marab Dvalishvili versus Peter Petyan 2, coming from Las Vegas. And I like to say, myself, Sam, and Joe joins us once again. How are we doing, Joe?
Yeah, good. We're just chatting now. A couple of title fights in this one, Sam. Fairly decent last UFC card. Yeah, good. Ready for Saturday, Sunday morning for us. But yeah, no excited for it, Sam. And let's hopefully I'm winning this draft. I think you won the last one.
I think I did sneak it in the end. I think it was done, wasn't it, by Morales as well, who wasn't actually going to be one of my picks, but then got to that final round and thought I'm gonna take Joe on, and went with Morales against Sean Brady, and he did the business for me. So I snuck that one in at the last minute. So we'll see how we go here. It's the last numbered card of 2025, the last one in terms of the United States of the ESPN era, also the pay-per-view era, ending here after this one, and we start off with the Paramount era in late January. So we're just talking there a little bit about the promotion of this, and it just seems in one sense underwhelming, but actually I think when you look at some of the fights on here, it goes quite deep, and there's quite a lot of killers on this card, so it could be an entertaining one, even though it's maybe not caught the imagination in the build-up.
Yeah, I agree. I think that there is a few very exciting storylines, Sam. Obviously, Joshua Vance vying to be, I think, the second or the third, depending on when you count Jose Aldo as the second or third youngest champion of all time. Merab's obviously been a destroyer. Rematch with Peter Yan after a couple of years. Peter's gone on his win streak since. You've got always exciting Brandon Moreno, who always comes to throw down. And then you've got Triple C on 0C at the moment, potentially retiring, but everyone's calling his bluff at moments and saying, no way, Henry, you just want more views on your fight because you're not getting any traction. So let's see if he sticks to his word and retires.
And then, obviously, we said this is the last of 2025 and this ESPN pay-per-view era, and we should touch on it before we get into the draft. The opener, UFC 324, January 25th. Paddy the Baddy getting his title shot, interim shot at that. Ilia Topuria taking a bit of a hiatus while he deals with some personal issues, and in steps Justin Gaethje for that one. Gaethje v Pimblett, what do you make of it?
Yeah. Obviously, Gaethje's been saying he's not fighting for anything other than the title. So they've chucked the interim on him. They've found the angle to get Gaethje back, and then Paddy Pimblett. To be honest, Sam, I've doubted him over the years, and obviously when he had that win that he probably shouldn't have done against who was it against now?
Yeah, Jared Gordon, wasn't it? Yeah.
Jared Gordon, that one. I was like, yeah, I'm right. I'm not in, but then he's got better and better and better. So I love his improvement. He's calmed down his antics. Let's all get behind Paddy the Baddy and let's have another UK champion, because that will give us, I think, our third champion in as many years now. So let's hope Paddy gets the win and provides another UK-based champion. So I know I'm excited for him. He deserves it now. He's got through that little lull. Let's see Paddy the Baddy in action.
Yeah, it's a good little card that as well, kicking off that Paramount era with a bang. Kayla Harrison, Amanda Nunes, O'Malley against Song Yadong, Waldo Cortez Acosta, who is chasing down a shot at the title. Once we get Aspinall Gan done again, he's facing Derek Lewis on that main card. And we've got another Brit in Arnold Allen facing Gene Silva as well. So absolutely stacked that one. And we are going back to back as well. UFC 325 the week after. And if there's good news for Paddy Pimblett, there was some disappointing news for Lerone Murphy not getting the shot. Diego Lopez getting the rematch against Volk. A bit unfairly, in my opinion. I thought Murphy deserved it after that win over Pico in the summer. And maybe should have been one more for for Lopez to have to win to get back into title contention. Being a youngster, what did you make of that announcement of going back to back, but also Lerone missing out?
Yeah, not like you said, not really sure on it. Don't get it. I think on Twitter they've questioned it as well, Sam. So I don't think we're the only ones not understanding Lerone not getting a title shot. So no, I think if he said one more win, hopefully we'll get another chance at a British champion. But yeah, no, doesn't make sense to me. Lopez is an animal. I guess he's good to watch. Maybe Dana says he's good on the views or whatever angle it is. Yeah, not too keen on it. But to be fair, at least it'll be a good fight.
Indeed, so we got that one booked in at the start of next year. Looks pretty good. I have to wait until later on in January, though, January 25th for UFC 324. So let's crack on then with UFC 323 and our draft system. We go head to head every time we do these, picking 5 fighters each. Joe, you're the rules man on the draft. Anything else we need to know?
Just it's a snake draft, Sam. I think that's the one where if whoever goes first, hopefully it's me. Since I lost last one, I would like the first pick to go first, Sam, without being too cheeky. But that means you get 2 picks in a row, and it goes back and forth that way. So there's no one getting disadvantaged. Hopefully by the end, obviously everyone's had a first pick in a round, and we're ready to go. 5 fighters. Talk about odds. Talk about a bit of the storyline, bit of the angles in it. If there's any good bets, we like to chuck in. So we talk a bit of everything. We use the draft to get all the ones we want to talk about in a fun way, in a fun, nice way. So yeah, ready to go, Sam.
All right, then. You asked for it. If you ask for that title shot, you get it. Sometimes you get on the mic and call for it. He has done, so we'll grant him his wish. And Joe goes first in this UFC 323 draft.
I know. I want that early win, Sam, because I take too many risks in these drafts. I talk about fighters I like and I think, but I need the win against you. I think you've won. I had a good start. I think a year and a half ago. I think I was about 2 or 3 up, and then you've slowly caught up, and I think you're about 3 up now, Sam, 3 or 4 up. So I really need a big win. So I'm going to start off. I'm going to start off with hopefully what I think will be a win. I don't think there's any clear winners. That's a fight I want to talk about, like normal. They're all pretty good. They're all pretty good fights, to be honest with you, Sam. So I've not. There's not. That's why I want it. So I'm going to go with my first pick, Sam. I'm going to go with Tatsuro Taira, Japanese young superstar, to beat Brandon Moreno. He's 17-1. Taira come into the UFC with a loss. I think obviously he was a bit disappointed in that. Wasn't what we wanted to see against Brandon Royval, but he's beat Alex Perez since. No, he didn't come into the UFC with a loss. Sorry, he was on a win streak. Everyone thought he was going to win the title. Lost to Royval when he was, I think he was only 22, 23 at the time, Sam. 22, because it was last year. He's beat 2 fights since. I watched the fight versus Park Hyung Sung. I apologies if I pronounced that wrong, but I watched that. I thought second round submission looked impressive to me. I think he's the right age. He's a Japanese superstar. We've not seen these Japanese fighters at the top of MMA for a couple of years now. They're in ONE FC and these other ones, but the Japanese are coming. There's some great fighters in the UFC, and I think Taira's going to beat Moreno. Moreno's just past it now. He's had so many wars, Sam. So many great fights, so many titles. Even though he's not the crazy knockout artist, you always know he's going to go in there, guns blazing, and I think he's just won too many big fights behind him now. So I've got Tatsuro Taira to fight for the championship next fight, beat Moreno this one, Sam, and we're hopefully going to see a young superstar.
Interesting call. For the first one, I'll not make any comment just in case I maybe decide to go against you later on. But for my first one, 1 or 2 in this snake draft, I'm going to go on for. I'm going Merab. Obviously looking to get this historic 4-timer of defences in a calendar year. up against Petr Yan, who I do rate, but we saw them fight once before. I know Jan's saying about his injury that he had, didn't really throw the right hands in. He fought with one arm basically in that first fight, but it's the same performance that Merab put on then that he's put on against everybody else. And I don't see Petr Yan, given what we've seen of him in his other fights, that he will be able to solve the puzzle of Merab. We know it's high intensity. There's a lot of takedowns. It's not always about success and control. It's just about overwhelming the opponent at times. And he has mixed it up a little bit, which potentially does give a bit of an opening to Yan if he does stand a little bit more Merab. But I just think he plays it and he knows what he has to do to win. So if he feels confident in standing and striking, he'll do that for a bit. But ultimately, he knows the way to victory is just complete overwhelming, using the takedowns or the takedown threat to just completely take away his opponent's best weapons. And he's done it so many times. So we've seen it in the last 4, but on the run that he's on, was it 14 fight win streak? We've seen it so many times against so many good opponents. So I just don't see that changing here. We saw him, beat Corey, submit O'Malley, do it to outwork Umar as well at the start of the year. And just in those 3 that he's had, because he did it to O'Malley before that. You've got Yan, you've got Aldo as well in that mix. And I just don't see what Yan is going to bring that's going to be any different to throw him off his game. Potentially with Merab, one day it might just be the fact that he's done too much, he's fighting too often, and there is an injury there. But he just seems fresh, and he seems a little bit more in the last couple of fights willing to try and finish fights. He's sort of trying to finish Corey, he finished O'Malley, and I think he's going to come out here and really want to rubber stamp this historic. He was kind of the underdog. He kind of won at the start where the UFC weren't really pushing him. Now he's come to the fore. He's making a historic 4-time defense, and I think he's going to come out and look good on Saturday night, Sunday morning, and do the business against Petr Yan. And I've been tipping this up this week. I'm going for Merab's submission. I think he's going to finish the fight, and you can get that a decent odds. I think it's around 10-1 in some places. So Merab for me to win this one.
I like it, Sam. I might go against you later. I'm not sure. I'm tempted to go Yan for. If you don't mind me saying, Sam, a risky first round pick. It's back to you.
Yeah. I think there's quite a lot of fights on here that are a little 50-50, and I think a couple of my guys that I have been tipping this week are underdogs. I don't know if I necessarily want to use them up too early, so I think I'm going to go for the co-main. I'm going to go for Pantoja to beat Josh Van, even though I like Josh Van, and I think he's potentially the closest that maybe in this last run for Pantoja that's actually going to affect him. But we've been here before, and I've doubted Pantoja before and thought, maybe that run's going to come to an end. But Pantoja just has this way, a bit like Merab, in the fact that he has a certain style and he'll implement it, and many struggle to just find the answer. Obviously, against Kai Kara France last time out, I think I picked Kara France in that one. Against Asakura as well. Steve Erceg had a good performance against him. And then we've got Brandon Royval and obviously winning the title against Moreno. So he's been on this long streak now, and he's kind of, as they say, starting to lap the division a little bit. And then out of nowhere comes Josh Van, a young guy. And I think just that experience for Pantoja, and he's such an unforgiving competitor that I don't think he's going to give any room for Josh Van to breathe in this fight. So that's why I'm gonna back him. That he's just going to mix it up so well, Pantoja, really make Van work. Van, we've seen lose already, but has put an unbelievable little streak together to get this shot. But I just think Pantoja just potentially a little bit too strong at this stage of his career. Van will be back and at the top of this division, but I just like Pantoja, and I I like that grappling style that he's going to implement here. Obviously, he's a submission king as well, so I think Pantoja just gets this done, and just that little bit of inexperience for Van at the top level. This is his first 5 round in the UFC. I think he's had one before in his career on the regionals, but I just think all that overwhelming experience of Pantoja gets the job done in this one.
Like it, Sam, it's back to me. 2 championships. You're saying the 2 champs remain, so I'll have to go against you at one point, but we'll see. I've got free reign on the 2 title fights in the later rounds now, so I'll go in the prelims now and make it interesting, Sam. I've actually got in this one. No, it's the early prelims. I apologise. I've got Bruno Ferreira beating Marvin Vettori. I think Marvin's the Orc. I don't believe he likes getting called that, does he? But he's a great fighter. He's tough as nails. I think just over that line. I think similar to what I was talking about earlier. Just over that line now, Sam. He's been in a load of wars, load of great fights. Never quite done enough for me. And then he's up against Bruno Ferreira at 14-2. I think he's on the up. He's obviously had his loss against Magomedov, but other than that, he's beat Phil Hawes, Dustin Stoltzfus. He's just beat Jackson McVeigh in the first round submission. I think Magical Marvin is on the downturn. He's actually the same age, but been in a lot more top level fights. Been in them wars, been in a lot of tough events, and he just doesn't seem to have that killing edge. Never has. He just tough as nails, hard to knock out. I think Bruno Ferreira might be the man. I think it will see that end of turn for Marvin when they peak early. They either stay at that lower level, or they stay at that gatekeeper level, or they start dipping, and we'll see the end of him. I think Bruno's on the way up. Momentum's with him. Got good knockout power, can submit, well-rounded game, and got, like, again, loads of power in his hands. I think he'll just be too much for Marvin, and we'll see Bruno Ferreira get the win.
Like it. And
Back to me.
you.
Back to me. I've got another interesting one here, and then no, I'm not. I'm going to miss that one out. So I was going to say Edson Barboza beating Jalen Turner, because Jalen Turner looks like he's not interested in MMA anymore. The last couple of fights look like he's shot shy. Doesn't like it, gets knocked out really easily, loses really easily the last couple of fights. But that would be one for the betting for you. Edson Barboza, he is the ultimate gatekeeper of that division. Jalen Turner's been there on the downturn. I don't think he's interested in MMA anymore, but we'll see. But I'm going to go one of my favourites of all time, Jan Blachowicz, to beat Bogdan Guskov. Jan's the man. Jan is the man. He's one of the most unheralded light heavyweights, I think, of all time. He's been in these major fights. He's beat a lot, and he's had some more. He's known for having a lot of bad decisions against him on big. Obviously, Alex Pereira didn't get as big as that fight. A lot of people thought he won that. He's just lost a close one to Carlos Ulberg, again, that many people thought he won. So he's still at that top end of the of that light heavyweight division. I just think he's too good for Bogdan Guskov. I think Jan's still hungry. He's one of them fighters at them light heavyweight divisions. They can fight this late into the division, into their age. Sorry, Jan's unbelievable fighter. He'll go tooth and nail. He'll try and knock you out. He's got a good ground game. He's just so well rounded. I think he beats Bogdan Guskov pretty easy, and we remember the name Jan Blachowicz once again, and he gets his name back in that title contention. I don't know whether they'll give him another chance, but I think he deserves it because he's been unlucky a lot of times, and he's been a great servant of that division in the weaker years.
Nice. Sticking with the Polish power. I'm not again. I'm not commenting. I'm not commenting.
Well, it's back to you.
See where we go. Yeah, I'm going to take my next one now. This one's a bit of a risky one, I think, because I think these two it's a complete and utter different star matchup between these two up and coming lightweights. We've got the wrestler in Grant Dawson in one corner. We got the striker, the maniac, Manuel Torres in the other corner. And I'm going the side of Manuel Torres to get the job done. I like Grant Dawson. He's decent, good grappler, can control people on the ground. He's on a good little win streak, beating Diego Ferrer, Rafa Garcia, Joe Selecki as well. He's got himself in a good position in that lightweight division. He's into the top 15 now, but he was knocked out quite badly by Bobby Green, or King Green, as we call him now, last September. And Torres is just a wrecking machine, this guy. I really like him. He's got 3 knockouts so far from 4 fights. His other from 4 wins, sorry. His other win, he subbed up Chris Duncan, who's on this card as well. Knocked out Drew Dober in March in the first round. And I think Drew Dober is kind of like Grant Dawson light. He's kind of just similar fighter, kind of that all-American wrestling thing, but likes to strike, but doesn't have much head movement and can get knocked out. Torres is going to find the mark on Grant Dawson unless he can absolutely take him down early and control him on the ground. There is absolutely no way that Grant Dawson lasts 15 minutes with Manuel Torres, and he is not knocking Manuel Torres out. So for me, Manuel Torres gets the job done. We've maybe not seen his grappling fully tested, but against Chris Duncan, Duncan tried, and Duncan's a good grappler. Maybe he's got better since he's come to the States and been part of ATT, but Torres ragged him. So I think he's got more in the tank than we've seen, and I think this guy is good. He's only lost to Bahamondes. That was an absolute firefight. I think that was on the Sphere show, and they just came out, and it was just 2 Mexicans just trying to kill each other in the first round, and he came on the wrong end of that. He's not going to face the same firepower here. Dawson just doesn't have the head movement, and I think Torres lights him up and potentially does it in that first round. So Manuel Torres for me to make a mark in this lightweight division and take Grant Dawson's spot in the top 15 is my first. And then back to me in this snake draft. Oh man, this is where it gets a little tough now. Do I take you on with one of yours? Do I go for my one spare?
Come on, take me on.
Go on, I'll take you on, and I'll take you on with my mate Bogdan Guskov.
Wow.
This guy, if Manuel Torres is a wrecking machine, Bogdan Guskov is a hell of a wrecking machine. This guy hits hard. He's an absolute monster. 4-1 in the UFC. Was beaten by Volkan Ozdemir, and I think his debut. But since then, he's come out and he is knocking people out. He's got a submission in there as well. And I just like him. I think he's going to come out. And I think that Jan, I get what he's saying. And I think Jan potentially could do a job on him with the grappling if he can implement it. But again, I think Guskov just comes out of the gates too fast. And I think he's just going to have too much for Jan at this age, coming into his 43rd year now. Blachowicz, and just that fight he had last time out, Jan, against Ulberg, was a nice slow pace. It was a close fight, tit for tat, leg kicks. It was just at the right pace for him. Guskov is going to come out a lot faster. He's going to be a steam train in there, and it's whether Jan at this age can cope with that. Potentially he can. That Polish power, he doesn't seem to age. But I think for me, yeah, I'm just gonna go the way of Guskov. So yeah, he's almost 10 years younger. He's fresh. He's got power, and I think he gets the job done here. And we've got a different kind of power coming in here. The Uzbekistan power takes over from the Polish power in this light heavyweight division.
Like it. As I said, Sam, I'm going to go against you twice here, I believe. And I'm going to start off with one of my favourite fighters I've watched over the last 7 or 8 years in the UFC. I love the way he figures them out. He starts slow. It's cost him not many fights, cost him a couple of fights. He could have never have lost. Piotr Jan. I think he's the one to de-reign Merab Dvalishvili. I think Merab's a marauder, can do everything. Like I said, he's been going for them knockouts, but I think Piotr's too smart, too clever to go in again and get marauded again. I think he's improved all around. He's won his last 3 fights. He went on that 3-fight skid where he lost to Aljamain in a split decision, lost to O'Malley, split decision, then lost to Merab. That was his. Everyone was wondering what's to come, and then he's gone and won 3 fights in a row. One of the smartest fighters to watch. He'll dissect you slowly, and he'll just slowly chip away until his power, his technique gets too good for you. And I think if Merab was going to attempt to stand up, I think that's a bad decision. Piotr's wrestling's been getting better and better over the years. I think it's something he's really concentrated on. And as long as it's good enough to get a couple of stand up, I think Piotr goes for this. And I think he gets. I don't want to say TKO because Merab's got an head of steel and it'd be so hard to TKO him. But I think if there's a man to do it, Piotr Jan's coming. I think he is the best all-around fighter in the UFC. I absolutely love watching him. If you want to watch someone who's smart and methodical fight, he's the man to watch. And I think Piotr Jan regains the title after a couple of years away and a bit of a learning process. So.
Fair shout.
And then the last one, I'm going.
Is he going?
It's not quite history, but it's very close. I'm going Joshua Van against Pantoja. Pantoja's, like I said, he's lapped that division now. I think sometimes when they done that, the motivations, I don't know. It's tough to keep it, Sam. It's tough to stay there when he's had so many big fights, so many title fights, so many good level fights where he's gone through damage. Joshua Van's a young gun coming for his title. He's showed lots of talent. Knockout artist, submission, well-rounded. He's win these new era fighters we talked about 5 or 6 years ago, and they never quite come and took over the UFC like we thought they were going to. I think this is the new era. I think Van's coming for the title, and we've got someone young and exciting to get behind now that we can follow over multiple years, hopefully, who can lead that division into a bit of freshness that it's probably needed. It was a good, exciting division, that flyweight 2 or 3 years ago. They were all fighting each other, a couple of wins each way. Pantoja stepped up and been that man to show he were the best out of that group of fighters. But Van's come in, and I think he genuinely is just better than these ones coming up now. He's learning every time he fights. Joshua Van will now one of the youngest champions of all time. So
nice. I like it. Do you know what? I don't know where to go this last one. I found this quite difficult, actually. I don't know if you can tell. Some of my answers don't seem that convincing, maybe. But I'm going to go for a fight that my head is saying just do not touch this fight because it would absolutely be stupid to pick a winner. I'm going to go for someone of these Isles to get another win in the UFC. I'm going to go for Chris Duncan to beat Terence McKinney, which is going to be an absolute firefight. This one, McKinney has been in what's this now? His 11th UFC fight. He's won 7, lost 4. None have gone to decision. He's won 4 by knockout, lost 3 by knockout. He's won 3 by submission, lost 1 by submission. Everything apart from 1 fight against Nazim Sadikov, which he lost by submission in the second round, has ended in the first round. So this guy is an absolute whirlwind. Will come out, try and win from the very first moment. He's had some really early wins. He's won in under a minute. He's lost in under a minute. He was knocked out by Esteban Ribovic in 37 seconds. He won his last fight against Borshev within a minute in 55 seconds, a mounted guillotine. And I think in that chaos, I think someone like Chris Duncan is just growing and growing. And this is a kind of fight where he can come out and ride maybe a bit of an early storm for the first 60 seconds, minute and a half or so, and then really get to work and show what he's about. I think he's growing with every fight that I've seen him. Chris Duncan getting better and better, training ATT. Now he's committed himself to training over in the States. And I just feel like he is getting better. Fantastic guillotine choke, 1-2 in the UFC by that method, including against Jordan Vucenic in that England v Scotland derby that we saw earlier this year when the UFC came back to town. So for me, I just think he has just got that ability just to take advantage of that one mistake that McKinney makes when he comes out flying. Someone like Duncan, when he grabs a hold of you, gets you in that guillotine, it is good night. So I'm thinking he's just a little bit too strong. McKinney comes out, tries to win from the first belt, and Duncan just takes advantage of that. And like I said, he's growing with every fight. I think he's getting better and better, and I think he is, as his nickname suggests, if I'm getting it right, the problem. And I think he is a problem in this division, and certainly growing to be 32 years old, fighting out of Iowa / America now. But I think Chris Duncan gets it done and goes and makes that a 4-fight win streak inside the UFC. So Chris Duncan rounding things off in the draft for me, Joe.
Brilliant, Sam. Yeah, should be a good night of fights. Really, it's not one of them where you're walking in. I think we had 1-2 shows ago where like everyone we picked were clear favourites, and the matchmaking one very efficient. I'd say most of these fights are good, interesting fights where they're pretty evenly matched. It's been a tough pick. I think we've gone against each other 3 times, so it's a rarity. We do like a nice challenge on the 5th round, Sam, but we've picked. So I think that shows how close all these fights are. Yeah, really excited actually. Now we've done the show, felt it.
Yeah.
I mean, let's go.
Yeah, I think just looking down it as well, I don't see that. I think there's going to be quite a lot of finishes as well. Like I can see in those in the early prelims, I can see a lot of those being finishes. Maybe the Vittori one might go decision with just the size of Vittori's head and the difficulty is to finish it. But I can see most of them going early. So we've got Zian Sadikov, that could go. 2 monsters in Macy Barber and Karine Silva. We didn't touch that one. Both finishers of fights for the women's division. Will them two cancel each other out? McKinney v Duncan, that's going early. I think Manuel Torres is going to knock out Grant Dawson. We've got Jan Blachowicz against Guskov on that main card opener. That could go. One we didn't touch on was Cejudo against Payton Talbot. We both swerved that one. And then you get up higher up the card, maybe some decisions there. But I think that was from the early prelims right through to the main card. I think there is potential for quite a lot of finishes. But just on Cejudo Talbot, we did. It's the only one of the main card we've not done. Which way would you go if you were picking one of those gentlemen?
Any other year than this year, I think I would have said Cejudo. Really thought he's an outstanding fighter. That things, and he just made some, as it gets laughed about everywhere, some of the worst career choices of all time. Cejudo, but he's an unbelievable fighter. But I don't know, he just he's 38 years old now, bit over the cliff. Just lost to Song Yadong, didn't he? I think he did by decision. I think that's a really bad loss for him. I think that shows where maybe he's at for his career. I do like Song, brilliant fighter, but Cejudo with Triple C for a reason. I think Talbot's is obviously on the rise. He's 27, got youth on his age. I don't know. Looking at it, he's lost this year, Talbot, hasn't he? So I'm going Cejudo. I think Cejudo wins this, Sam.
Yeah. When we'll take these as the reserves then, just in case we've got a draw. I'll take Talbot. I'll take Talbot, so we don't have a draw.
That's the decide.
Yeah, I'm taking Talbot. I'll take Talbot. I think he's just getting better enough to like you said, beat Cejudo at this stage. Not the Cejudo we once knew and had. Yeah, obviously lost that one to Ronnie Barcelos, but then did come back. It was a good win against Felipe Lima, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Last time out, showed a lot of improvements. He got really out grappled by Barcelos, but Lima, a real fast twitch grappler, and Talbot did the business. So yeah, I think he's showing the improvements. I think a bit like we saw with Wellmaker the other week. Sometimes these prospects, they come in and they think it's a little too easy, and then they hit that banana skin when they don't expect it. And then it's time to knuckle down again, and you see the kind of the 2.0 version of them, or not, or they fall off a cliff. I think Talbot just kicks on to get himself into the top 10 of some good fights next year. So yeah, I'll take Talbot. Let's quickly before we go through our picks. Do you want to go first with your draft team of 5?
Yeah, I'm going Tatsuro Taira to get the win. Bruno Ferreira, Jan Blachowicz, Polish Power, Peter Yan to go get the title back, Joshua Van to become one of the youngest champions in UFC history, and then our little wild card fun one for the main event, Henry Cejudo to beat Peyton Talbot.
I went for Marab to remain and still, and Pantoja as well. Both of those champions to keep their belts. I went for Manuel Torres to get a win and a knockout win at that. Bogdan Guskov as well. I'm sorry to say, I think he finishes Blachowicz, and Chris Duncan, who is going to sub up Terence McKinney. Do you know what? I'm going wild. I don't know what the odds of this will be. I think it's going to be huge, but I'm going for all of my fighters to win by submission. I'm gonna take a little sidestep in a tab to a bookie and put that on, and we'll post that out. I'm going for 5 finishes from my guys, all to win.
I like it, Sam. Yeah, we're on. We will review over the week, Sam. But no, it's been a pleasure. And yeah, see, should be another great evening of fights. Really, all quite close, competitive ones. So I'm excited.
Yeah, we look forward to the fights. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you again next time.